Well, he's lucky.
Yeah, he has one of the best doctors out of John Hopkins. Anyway, I think we're on the air, and we better start.
Holy cow.
Holy.
Moo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we're a little giggly today with gold prices being up, but hey, you're joining us this afternoon, Wednesday, November 4th, 2009. And you're listening to Financial Survival, sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. I'm Melody Cedarstrom, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. And, of course, questions to the program. Discount Gold and Silver at yahoo.com. Discount Gold and Silver, A&D, at yahoo.com. And just make sure you put something in the subject line. And, of course, you can use that email address for not only your questions for the program, but, of course, any questions regarding your gold and silver coins investment. So you can do that and visit our website at discountgoldandsilvertrading.net, discountgoldandsilvertrading.net for archives of the program and, of course, reading material and how to get started. And, folks, as I said yesterday, if you haven't gotten started yet, you just better give me a call. Forget the website. Call me at 1-800-375-4188. And the gold prices today. We are looking at gold up 740 at 1,092.70, and she almost touched 1,100 earlier today. Silver was up 23 at 1746, and platinum was up $2 at 1369, and of course palladium was up $3 at 333. So a pretty good showing.
And tell them what the dollar did.
And the U.S. dollar is down 0.62 at 75.69.
Ominous.
Yes.
That's I think it might be at or near a record close to the downside. I'd have to go look it up.
I think it might be, but didn't we have a point drop already? Maybe not on the close.
Let me see here.
We've had
in the last 2 weeks, well, what do we got here?
Well, certainly in the last 2 weeks, but...
Wait a minute. I gotta go find it. 75.22 here. That's the low. Yeah. 75.22. That's a close. Then I have other sheets I could go to, but it's not a new low. They hit it one more day like that, and it will be.
And that little voice in the background is the Robert Chapman. Here's Robert. Hi, Bob.
Hi there.
And how are you today?
You know what? When you were introducing he is Johnny, and I got to tell you an interesting story. I was at this restaurant at Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu that we used to go to all the time, and right across the street there are homes and on the water, and one of them belonged to Common Dragon, who was a very famous orchestra leader back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and the other belonged to Johnny Carson. And after that he moved, but he met his wife on the beach there. She was walking down the beach, and what attracted him to her, I think, was the fact that she was only wearing the bottom of her G-string bathing suit. And that's how they fell in love.
That was his last wife too, I believe. He had quite a few of them.
Yeah. He never went out in Malibu at all. I never saw him in a restaurant. I see everybody else in town, but not him. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Hey, Port Matilda's going to be famous here in Port.
How's that?
They're making a movie here.
what, Night of the Murderous Killers?
Land of the Living Dead, no.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
that
boy.
movie's actually coming out next year. A year's a long way away, so maybe it won't come out at all. But it features Denzel Washington, I believe, and it's a train. And Altoona was a very popular train. It was the entrance to the west. All the trains had to go through Altoona, and it is a train movie. And they're doing filming in all these little areas around Pennsylvania. I guess they're going up to New York and Ohio, West Virginia, and so forth. So, but they've been filming here in Port Matilda for about 2 weeks, and some little areas. So, and they're using
they used to have a big turnaround place in Illinois. I forget what the name of the town was. I've been through there. But anyway.
Altoona has a wonderful museum, and I'll tell you what, those folks on those trains, when the work that they did and how they did it, it's just amazing. It's just, we look toward the work that we do today, and, some of those gentlemen did back then. Tough lives.
Yeah, they sure were. Even when I was a kid in the 40s, everybody worked like dogs. It was, 48 hours a week was normal. And many, like in the restaurant trade, would work 80 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were getting $1.25 an hour, 75 cents, dependent. And people don't know how good they've had it, and they get spoiled, and now it's over.
Yep.
It'll never be the same again. They've allowed their politicians to get bought off by Wall Street and banking, and the game's over. The next stop is surviving, and that's why they have to have gold and silver. It is so important. And but anyway,
I saw some of the election outcomes, and I saw John Corzine out of Jersey got kicked out.
Good.
Yeah, I know it. About time I got tired of seeing him on CNBC. But
he'll be on there.
Bloomberg,
believe me,
funny.
He's a member of the Illuminati, and the only reason he got elected the first time was that he spent $100 million on his election, and he spent the same amount again and didn't make it. And he had an affair with a woman who was involved in labor unions there, and then she wanted to be compensated for something, and it was a big scandal. So I'm surprised someone in that position, who had come from Wall Street, could stoop that low. But people are people, I guess.
Well,
what were you going to say?
Just like Bloomberg, he had to extend the eligibility, the term limit, so he could get back in there his third term, I guess it is.
And he barely made it. He had a 15-point lead.
Yeah.
And he only won by 1%.
Yep.
And he spent, $10 million. I think that was the figure. And he's another super liberal. But anyway. Yeah, I'm coming to the realization that unfortunately the route for us legally, Congress and the White House, is no longer open to us. And this 1207 Ron Paul chapter is a good example. And they just refuse to allow these crooks to do what they're supposed to do, and which is represent the constituents. And I think that what's going to happen is that people are going to start going outside the system. We're already looking at the self-employed. Between 38 and 40% now are not even filing for income tax. and it's going to become very, very widespread. And people are just going to drop out of the system. And they can't get them all. I mean, what are they going to put, millions of people in jail? I don't think so. Because that's not going to give them any revenues anyway. And you're going to see a lot of massive civil disobedience. And that'll lead to revolution. So make sure you get your coins and your food and your filter and your weapons ready, because it's going to come to that. I see no way of avoiding it. And you don't like to have to tell you that, but we've always discussed the possibility of it being there. No, I think